For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
An individual who had the gift of the gab has passed away. And just recently, the Prime Minister said that if you have been living on Crown lands for over 30 years, well, you'll be getting it for free. And he used the word pour rien. Well, ça pas tellement vrai. We'll explain during the course of this, another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, Newspin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the Newspin Facebook page as well as the Newspin YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can call as well a little bit later at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026, as we hope you're having yourself a fantastic Friday and you're all set for an enjoyable and incident-free weekend. The guy who had the gift of the gab never lost for words. He has passed away. And I'm referring there to former government minister, former leader of the opposition, former MP for Labrie Saltibus, and that is Mr. Velon John, OBE SLC. Mr. Velon John passed away earlier today, I'm told, and he would have been about 83 years old, from April 19th, 1942 to June the 13th of 2025. His life on this precious earth, and in particular St. Lucia, was not a simple one. Same way he used words that appeared to be,
for me, there's a simple,
the ordinary folks, the mere mortals. The same way his life certainly was not simple, and definitely he was not a simpleton. And our question of the day has definitely produced some interesting responses. Former MP Velon John has met his terrestrial demise. Which word best describes him? And we all know that most of us became familiar with that term, terrestrial demise. It was introduced to us by Mr. Velon John. All it means is that on this earth of ours, we have perished, we have died, we have lost our lives, simply put. And the response to our question of the day, somebody says, apparatus deflated. Another person says, head of scholars in the chat. Another person says, the biggest word you could ever think of. And another person comments, the big word man. Braggadocios, may he rest in peace. When will Newspin free me up in the comments on the live? Another one says, he was truly eloquent orator. He was known for his persuasive rhetoric. Testicular fortitude, another one comments. And another person says there, our deepest condolences on his passing. A man whose vocabulary was so vast, even Google had to pause. He didn't just speak, he orated, elucidated, and occasionally bedazzled us with words most of us only pretend to know. May he now rest in eternal tranquility as he commences indefinite interdimensional hiatus in celestial serenity. Undoubtedly will surely miss his ability to make a thesaurus feel underqualified. Another one says, has been annihilated, his apparatus on earth is no more. That's when he wanted to tell a driver that he had a flat tire. He said to the driver, the apparatus which causes your automobile to be mobile is deflating. The driver just looked at him and continued moving on until he realized he had a flat, only to realize that must have been him attempting to say to him that he had a flat tire. That'll do it as far as your responses to the question of the day. Former MP Velon John has met his terrestrial demise. Which word best describes him? I interviewed him on March the 18th of this year. It's all about a book that he recently published and was on sale to members of the public. The book, Ramblings of a Mind and Pulsations of a Heart. That is final literary work. And I ventured to ask him about the nature of his illness because he was ailing at the time. This is how he responded to the question.
So I've been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Okay. And that's my situation, that's my reality. And as I see it, though I've heard the term and cancer survivors, and I would see perhaps my terrestrial demise is imminent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that does not perturb me, considering and my own cosmology. Yeah, imminent, fine, no problem. I think I have made peace with that reality. When I talk about my death, it's not morbid, and the actuality of my death, as I see it, is not a tragedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why isn't it a tragedy? Because some people will see it as that.
Yeah, because that's my cosmology. Yeah. How I perceive it, how I perceive my death. I truly really embrace my terrestrial demise.
Okay. Yeah. Not that we really don't want you to disappear from the face of the planet anytime soon. We would like you to stay with us for as long as possible, Mr. Velon John. But
no,
God forbid.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
God forbid you were to meet your, as you put it, your terrestrial demise, sir. How would you like to be remembered by the people of St. Lucia?
I've never given that any serious thought. Mm. No, I just like to be remembered by all the persons I have met, and have met many persons in St. Lucia and abroad.
Yeah.
That I, Velon, have had a positive impact on their lives. Yeah, a very positive impact on a multiplicity of levels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any final?
And if that is the case, then I would say I have justified my existence.
Yeah, because you have contributed in so many areas, as far as the legal profession is concerned, as a magistrate, as a government minister. You certainly, your existence certainly is a worthwhile one in terms of your contribution to the development of your country.
Thank you.
Any final comments from you, sir, before we conclude?
No, just that, and I am fine. Those who care to visit me, and they can't do that because lying on my bed, lying on my particular bed, can be very boring. I've been lying on bed for about almost 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as I say, there's that term, cancer survival. Who knows? I just may fall into that category. But I'm not too excited about it, really.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. John, and all the best to you.
Okay,
Speedy
brother.
recovery. Thank you so much for speaking with us on Newspin.
Okay, brother. Thank you, my friend.
So he has met his terrestrial demise, referred there to Mr. Velon John, who passed away earlier today. He will be sorely missed. One of the words I'm sure that he would have introduced to many of us is that word, salubrious. The word salubrious, health-giving or healthy. Health-giving or healthy, salubrious. About 3 years ago, in the midst of the serious crime problem that we were experiencing at the time and we continue to grapple with, Mr. Velon John did address the scourge, over 47-minute address, but we have just extracted about 2 minutes focusing on crime.
Good day, fellow St. Lucians. This presentation, which in some measure is a compilation of my thoughts over a period of time, reflects my thinking on the generic issue of the breakdown of law and order, its linkages with relevant societal components, and its attendant consequence of the tsunami of crime that has engulfed and alarmed our society by its ubiquity, heinousness, constancy, and plurality. And so at this time, and contextually speaking, this our country as I see it is in a state of crisis. And in consequence thereof, there is the urgent and desperate need for innovative, creative, pragmatic thinking and strategies to deal with this criminogenic scourge. And looking at our society through the doorway of crime, I see necessity and anger woven in the fabric of our doings and undoings. The former, as we know, is the mother of invention, just as anger is the father. Considering the crisis that we now face, we, the movers and the shakers in this society, and on whatever level, and in whatever the sphere, have to be creative and proactive in the posture that we assume in the containment of crime. And it is a posture that must be holistic, for it is only in so doing that we can bring about a salubrious revolution in thought, perception, and conduct of the members of the society. And when we speak of the crisis, the countermeasures must be creative and creatively draconian. It is to be noted that this alarming and disconcerting incidence and phenomenon of crime is not peculiar to St. Lucia. It's a virtual feature of our vaunted Caribbean civilization.
With the words also came a sonorous voice. That's Velon John. Tsunami of crime. He also said it's ubiquity, meaning it's everywhere. Once again, we pay homage to the late Mr. Velon John, who has passed away, former government minister, former MP for Labrie. Talking about words, somebody is suggesting in their jurisdiction that they ought to lower the political rhetoric. This could apply to us in St. Lucia. The kind of disrespect that is being displayed, the lack of proper behavior or decorum, whether it is on television or on social media. Because you can always disagree, particularly as leaders in our country. Disagree with someone without insulting them. And this has become something that we have normalized in St. Lucia as far as politics is concerned. This is to the extent that people are not frowning upon this. Your St. Lucia Christian Council, not a word from them. Other citizens in our country are deemed to be prominent individuals who are worthy of emulation. They just keep quiet. But obviously, this cannot continue because there are consequences. And every time the temperature reaches fever pitch level, you have consequences. And the individual, you'll hear from that individual in just a moment, cites a particular example. So and now we are very much in the silly season, and there is a contest underway that is to impress the electorate, to win their support. We certainly have to be very circumspect, very cautious, very responsible in whatever that we say. Don't get carried away. Let us hear from the world's best Prime Minister, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados.
I went to Dominica 2 weeks ago only to be told that persons went down there before me to follow me down there. Then to be told that, because I don't listen to it, that comments were being made about cockroaches in Parliament. Now, why does that bother me? I don't mind people calling me Miss Piggy and all the other things that they call. But when you start to up the rhetoric with the animus and the vitriol that is there, the last time people referred to people as cockroaches, it led to genocide in Rwanda. And some of you in the media should go and do the research to remind people of what happened there. It is not acceptable in our democracy. And if you are going to go follow me down, you can curse me as much as you want. But when you start to curse Barbados and Bajan soldiers and Bajans, then we start to also have another problem. I am saying to us, please, last week, Saturday, I believe it was, AG, DPM, in Colombia, a presidential candidate was shot in his head. The first thing that the Secretary of State from the US said was what? Lower the rhetoric. Lower the political rhetoric. Lower the animus.
You just heard there from the Prime Minister of Barbados speaking yesterday during a press conference. Now, our own Prime Minister, just recently, I suspect maybe he got carried away during a town hall Tuesday of the St. Lucia Labour Party, when he assured those of you who have been living on Crown land owned by the state for over 30 years, that land, you'll be given title to that land. He said that. Listen.
This year, we will give everybody who is on Crown lands and who has been there for more than 30 years, we will give them the land free. Bouaye! This year, we will give everybody who is on Crown lands and who has been there for more than 30 years, we will give them the land free. Bouaye!
Let's listen now to the country's Deputy Prime Minister and the deputy political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, speaking this week during the pre-cabinet press briefing on the same lands issue.
The government did not say all Crown lands in St. Lucia. We've identified areas. So we've identified Opicor, we've identified, certain places where that first phase will happen. And I'm hoping it can also extend to some private lands, because there are people living on some private lands in Banan, on the hill, the top of Monlatok, into good lands for 50 years. And they're not going to go anywhere. So we could as well resolve these matters. But you may be on Crown land somewhere that's a strategic piece of land, and they may not give it to you. This government did not say all Crown lands in St. Lucia. We've identified areas. So we've identified Opicor, we've identified, certain places where that first phase will happen. And I'm hoping it can also extend to some private lands, because there are people living on some private lands in Banan, on the hill, the top of Monlatok, into good lands for 50 years. And they're not going to go anywhere. So we could as well resolve these matters. But you may be on Crown land somewhere that's a strategic piece of land, and they may not give it to you.
This year, we will give everybody who is on Crown lands and who has been there for more than 30 years, we will give them the land free. Booyah!
Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda is standing by to go through some of your comments in the chat room and also to share it with the wider audience. We have a WhatsApp message which reads, the SLP government can never have a minister like Mr. Velon John. He is one of the best politicians used to watch budget presentation because of him. May his soul rest in peace. Hope the government takes a page from his book because they need it badly. Let's see there if we have another WhatsApp message. The person says there, private lands? Tell Dr. Ernest Hilaire keep abreast of his CCJ decisions and stop fooling the people. We have a call in the landline. We go to that call right now. Good afternoon. Newspin, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
I want to send this message to the Prime Minister of Shock.
The Prime Minister of where?
Shock.
Explain.
Okay. Tim, on Sunday I was going up Almond Morgan Bay. That's in James Hill. And there was a motorcycle coming down with a garbage truck at the back of it. On the side, there's a small bus stop. When you're going down to Castries, it's on the left. A cow jumped from that area into the road. The motorcycle rider, he was shocked. The cow almost hit the guy. So now he swung, he panicked and he tried to move the bike on the cow, and it was coming straight into my vehicle. The garbage truck at the back, the guy just jumped on his brake, threw more smoke, the cow just ran across the road, and that was it. Tim, all those police officers we have in town just giving people tickets, before you stop, before you slow down, I think they should be shocked tying those cows. Because had that guy hit my vehicle, I had my son in the vehicle, that would have been a different case. Because I have called this radio station maybe about twice on that same issue, and I think at this point violence is the only option. Because if you see, because of that cow, my vehicle or my person or my child was injured, Tim would be getting beef on the island for for $2 a pound. They would have beef on the. They would have had an excess of beef on the island for $2 a pound. He would have no choice but to sell beef for $2 a pound. Because I think that's about time. I know people that have died because of those cows.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine from Barata. He bought a car, a brand new vehicle. A new vehicle the guy bought, and he hit a cow maybe like 4:30 in the morning in shock. The cow rolled over the guy's vehicle, literally crushed the guy's vehicle, and nothing came out of that. Nothing came out of that. A guy died on a motorcycle in that same shock by Mega J's area, I think.
Yes, I remember that incident.
You know, and nothing happened because of that. The man has cows everywhere. The cows go as far as by the power plant when going up to communications. The cows go as far as there. You know, the cows go as far as almost on top of the wall. You know, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. The government made a big roar when Chasney was there about, you know, he had police officers, SSU going and look for cows and tying cows and how much nonsense. And after that, nothing happened. Nothing happened. But had that incident happened on Sunday, I am telling you, everybody afraid of him. I don't care. But he would have had beef selling for $2 a pound, and not one cow. Because that's about saying that nonsense stop, man. If you have 10 cows and you have 10 acres of land that can sustain 10 cows, maintain your 10 cows. You do not have land for the amount of cows that you have. And no, the government is doing nothing about it. That's all for now.
All right, so thank you so much. And this caller is making reference to an individual known as Clinton. And we'll find a clip because Clinton was recently at the town hall Tuesday. And he was the one who was calling on the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre, to fire the special prosecutor. Now, this obviously had reached a point where we have to take this seriously. We cannot ignore that problem anymore. We have done that for too long. And administration after administration, they have promised to deal with that issue. They have promised to deal with that problem. And even recently, the Agriculture Minister, Mr. Alfred Prosper, spoke on this. We'll play that clip a little later. But for now, this is the owner of the cows that are impeding motor or vehicular and pedestrian traffic in the Shock area.
Mr. Prime Minister, what I want you to do first is to fire the prosecutor. That's what I want. Mr. Prime Minister, what I want you to do first is to fire the prosecutor. That's what I want.
So earlier on, the caller said that the Prime Minister of Shock, that's the Prime Minister of Shock. You just saw him there, the Prime Minister of Shock. And we are so tolerant, not only tolerant of what is happening there in that area, but tolerant of so many things that definitely we ought to be agitating against. We ought to be saying to the authorities, enough is enough. So many government ministers have promised to deal with that problem over several decades, but it persists. I don't know if you have the clip now of Mr. Alfred Prosper, the Agriculture Minister, speaking just recently, a couple of days ago. I don't think we got to play the clip on this broadcast, but he again is promising to deal with that problem of stray animals, stray cattle, particularly in that Shock area. And he addressed that issue during a pre-cabinet briefing recently?
Just this morning, I got a call from an individual who was driving down the northern part into Castries. And really and truly, I want to make the statement, and I want to be bold to say that the government is not responsible for ensuring that residents are safe from our roads. A farmer who is a cattle owner, who is a livestock owner, it's his responsibility to ensure that his cattle does not move away from the pasture areas onto the road. But we know there have been many, many incidents in the past, and why would someone want somebody to lose his or her life driving to his home because of somebody's problem or cattle? But we've had a discussion, we've been having a discussion on the matter at the cabinet level. There is a constituency, which is the constituency of Castries North. That is where the problem is very, very, very visible. And just last week, we were able to identify an area of land in Vieux-Fort, I think they call it Cocodan. And we are working with the cattle owners in this area. We had a meeting with a few of them already, and they have agreed to move their animals to the south to make this problem a thing of the past. I mean, it is just not a nice sight when you drive up and you get to Massy and you see all those animals on the side of the road with sometimes an intention to just cross the road. I mean, this is life and property. You know, this is risk that our persons take, and I do not think that they have to go through this. And I'm calling on all those cattle owners to find a way, find a mechanism to at least put a fence around your pasture to avoid those animals going onto the road and posing a risk to person's life and property.
Agriculture Minister Alfred Prosper. So, you know, we like to hide behind certain words, cliches. Find a mechanism. What mechanism you need? The animals are grazing near Megaji, grazing near Najikor, grazing. I mean, I was driving a Sunday, heading to Castries, and just opposite the Sandals House Unitel. A cow was coming towards the traffic that was heading to town. You know what could have happened? A major disaster. But we turn a blind eye to many critical issues in our country. This one has plagued us for decades, and we're not doing anything about it. Then you have certain issues, you have homicide after homicide, and then people tell you the government cannot do everything about it. The police cannot be everywhere, etc. But we know the source of the problem. It is concentrated in certain areas, and in particular in the shock area. We know who the owner of the cattle is. We know who is that owner. And there are a number of other owners, but I think he owns the majority of the cattle that are roaming, that are straying in that particular area. We are not prepared to do anything about it. Let's continue with your calls via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is Newspin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Tim,
sir.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm all right. What cow dung that minister come and talk there? No pun intended. These people are ministers. There are rules and regulation for planning if you have to build, for agriculture if you want to have a farm. And it goes on and on and on. And this is what this man is coming to say at this time, when we've had so many deaths and continue to have so many more near deaths on account of one person on the entire island of St. Lucia who is doing something illegally, and they all, because of votes, refuse to grow some gonads and do what needs to be done. If it was you, Tim, that decide you're having a horse by your home, they'll come, they'll take it, they'll tell you you have no farm, you cannot have a horse. But they allow this person, who apparently doesn't have property, to just let the animals roam free at the expense and at the lives of many solutions without doing one damn thing about it. You know, once upon a time, people would say something has to happen to one of their family members for them to do something. but not even that applies anymore. So this man can take what he just said there and use a few rolls of toilet paper and stuff it down his mouth, the stupidness he's talking. In this day and age, we need more responsible people who can stand up and do what has to be done. Enforce the damn laws and stop this person from doing what they're doing there. That's all I have to say to you.
Thank you so much for sharing your contribution with us. Let's see if we have another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is Newspin. You are on the air. Good afternoon to you, caller. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. Hello. Good afternoon. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let me turn my attention to Amanda and let us find out what is happening in the chat room. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Newspinners. Tim, a Newspinner says there, I remember when he said that guy expired on arrival at the hospital, LOL. Another commentary reads, even his laugh was sophisticated. A Newspinner says there, that's not true. You did some wrong when you were a magistrate. For that, I do not like him. Another comment reads, and that was a great interview by someone who knows that they are coming to the end of their journey on earth. Someone says there, but they think that if Alan Chasney can't speak Creole, he's not fit to be Prime Minister. Yet the people of Labrie don't really care. All they need is a voice of experience and not for them to understand. Another commentary reads, well, I'll remember him for the good, bad, and the ugly. When he said that the Canadian should not be there when a Canadian tourist was murdered in Marshall. And when there was a prison riot and the SSU was called, he said, do not touch my boys. And Newspinner says there, just say the undesirable lands will go to us. Another commentary reads, at least the Deputy Prime Minister identified the areas, but his boss did not. PJP speaks out of turn. His Deputy Prime Minister is smarter than him. Another commentary reads, the cows patiently waiting for elections. Someone says here, they will only do something should something happen to a tourist or tourists. This is ridiculous. Someone says there, what a lie. Someone living in the north will want to take their cattle to VA4. Another commentary reads, everything that's not good for the north is being dumped in the south by this SLP government. And someone in the chat room here says, Tim, take him off the TV. So he's saying the government is not responsible for citizens' well-being. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Let's see if we have another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is Newspin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yes. Tout bagay bon, Tim?
Oui, tout bagay bien.
Tim, te mwen don bagay. Mwen de ka koute Minister of Agriculture la. Et puis yon moun kouye Prime Minister of Shock. Te mwen don bagay. Wan ba opinion mwen. Yo suppose sorry pou do sa. Ek si mwen wrong di mwen ka apologize immediately. Yo suppose foute ni Minister ni met defla. La jol pour about 2 semaines pour yon comprendre quoi yo. Pour couillon tuer un ministre qui vient par là, la gouvernement pas responsable pour ces animaux qui en les la rue. Si mon jeune homme qui était resté plateau, il connaît un bœuf au choc. Bike là prix du fait. Et nom là péri au choc. Clinton dit moi, et c'est moi docteur Secret qui a parlé là. Clinton dit moi en tant Chasney Prime Minister, c'est Chasney qui s'est posé par place pour limiter beffle ou ça. Et le gouvernement les bas là presque 4 années. Yo pour ça blague by Clinton, même c'est un bon tiers pour ça m'a beffle en lay. Qui moun Clinton qui a vinn en beda. Tous les bons matins, 5 bon matin ou ja en la cour, Mega Jazz et puis Pelwek Barou commencer caca bœuf. Ça veut un moun qui mort quitter ça là. Clinton qui pris nom en pays Saint-Lucie. Date qui yo pas ça fait fermement pour ça mettre ces bœufs là et ben Marie en la couille devant la porte li moun ni pour prendre la moyo moun ni pour dépenser combien $1000 pour ranger machine yo et ces bœufs là ka couille parce qui moi ni un camarade qui resté Timon TX6 yon camarade un jour soit sorti comme lycée sorti en travail ka monter la caille pour un fraîcheur pour jouer en travail yon van escape en bœuf et qui ont tué d'où 20 noms là, a dommagé noms là, et puis mon qui était à boy là. Clinton pas une pièce dessous pour payer pour ça. Et que laissez bœuf là, con et ces machines, ces bœuf là, qui passent, qui t'aiment, comme si vous savez, mais là, ils ont un go choc. Ils ont fait les bails choc là, ou ça. Comment la dit c'est bah la ka marché monter vite power plant l'union on all electricity bah la yote là.
Power station.
Mais moi ka rester en area Tim est-ce que l'école la Den Paulette School c'est bef la ka monter juste là ay ponti work yo. Yo on round about la Lilion bonnet bon matin est-ce ou pas faire attention ka pour yo. Est-ce quoi ça c'est justice? Est-ce quoi Clinton Dr. Secret Kado a son team show. Il l'a pour commencer à physio et c'est pour être yo. Économe l'a dit $2 par livre pour un livre bœuf. Ça décaille bon. Pas les pièces bœuf la joie là, c'est nom la joie là pour travail pour ça. Bon c'est moun nan qui a perdu la vie la famille yo et moun qui a croisé machine on laisser bœuf yo supposé qu'a enjoy viande bœuf pour $2 la livre. Et c'est ça qui tout yo supposé marrer encore dans coup et marrer au choc. Un exemple pour ces befouas, c'est pas pichoman, pour ça on voit nom, et c'est pas qui plie nom. Si c'est yon man yon ka fait zeb, pour moun pas ça faut rien pour ces befouas. Naï faut ça date, moins ça démonto pour ça tirer ces befouas au choc. C'est tout le monde pour dire. Puis moi j'ai m'appelé, bah là pour aller chaud là.
Okay, Dr. Secret. When you produce your man, can we tell me? 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 71626. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Concerning these cows, on Sunday night, it was about between 11 and midnight, I almost ran into one of these cows. Because of the complexion of the cow, it was a black-skinned cow. Tim, something needs to be done. I remember under the stewardship of Ezekiel Joseph, I think he was Minister of Agriculture, they took a stand that any cows found on the highway will be shot on sight, and all the cows disappeared. And after the last election, they reappeared. And I can remember on a talk show, I cannot remember if it is yours, where Mr. Clinton was saying if they could have leased land for Tiwakim for $1 per square foot, why you don't lease it for him also?
He made
so
a comment.
This cows. I can remember that.
He made the
comment.
You remember
that?
On Newspin. He made a comment on Newspin.
He made the comment. And this is ridiculous, Tim. You know, I mean, people have lost their life and property on this road because of these cows. And that's the status quo. You know, you're a supporter, so it's okay.
I don't think it has anything to do
with... I really thought Black Lives had matter.
I don't think it has anything to do with politics, because the United Workers' Party government did not deal with that stray animal issue, and likewise this administration and the one before the United Workers' Party administration did not address the issue. So I don't think it's a political issue.
I remember at one time under the steward of Ezekiel Joseph, they said that they gave a date that any cows found on the highway will be shot on sight, and all the cows disappeared. All. And they came back. The last administration did nothing about it, I think. But something needs to be done. This cannot continue. People have lost their life and property on that road because of these cows.
Yeah.
And like the gentleman, for him, it's you know, he doesn't really care. That's what I have to say. And I'm pleading to Mr. Alfred Prosper as Minister of Agriculture to do something about this hazard, this hazard on the highway. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. You never know what direction it will take. UltraMed Health Services is a trusted provider of comprehensive medical care, offering a wide range of services from urgent care, laboratory services, and advanced ultrasound diagnostics. UltraMed Health Services is conveniently located in Rodney Bay, behind the Baywalk Mall. Give them a call at 715-8484, 715-8484, or 287-8484, 287-8484. To book your medical appointment today, call 572-8484, 572-8484. UltraMed Health Services is located in Rodney Bay, behind the Baywalk Mall. Still to come, you'll be hearing from John Daniel.
Carnival just got crunchier with KFC. It's time to fat, win, and feast with the Carnival Crunch Box. For just $30, get a big crunch or zinger sandwich, 3 crunchy strips, a dipping sauce, regular fries, a 16-ounce soda, and a biscuit. But wait, that's not all. Every Carnival Crunch Box gives you a chance to win big.
Costumes from legends, fusion just for fun too. Ixuvo tribe of 12, come jump with your crew. Get your receipts, write your name and number down. Drop it in the box, you can be jumping in town. Win tickets to mess, sun up, escape and more. Plus KFC vouchers to keep you crunching for sure.
Promotion runs June 1st to July 20th. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Do whatever they crunch you want.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilec aveti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
In the blink of an eye, disaster can strike. Are you ready? When the winds rage and the rain pours, will you be prepared? Don't let the next hurricane catch you off guard. At MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt, we understand the importance of preparation. From generators to plywood, we have everything you need to weather the storm. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt today and make sure your family is safe and secure this hurricane season. Play it safe. Get prepared.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beats in every soul, a feeling we cannot It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping.
Why suffer in silence? At La Clinique de Corps, an approved universal healthcare clinic, you now have direct access to a team of internationally trained specialists from the US, France, Cuba, Venezuela, and more right here in St. Lucia. We treat chronic pain, sciatica, arthritis, lupus, nerve damage, carpal tunnel, and more with precision and care. We also offer advanced diagnostic nerve testing to detect hidden issues early before they become serious. All health insurances accepted. We assist you every step of the way. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950 today. La Clinique de Corps, where healing begins.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Shivi Style Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Butey. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Shivi Style Shop. Pay less, drive more.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Yeah, now talk to me. St. Lucian economists and all other East that know East from West. That GPH Global Port Holdings Agreement, the island of St. Lucia government and GPH Holdings to allow GPH to lease out the ports for 30 years, a generation. That is a joke, you know. A generational era takes about 120 or 20 years to recover from that, you know, Papa. 30 years, we have to be careful. These lifelong decisions, you know. 30 years, and I believe, my personal belief, I am a political for the 6th anniversary in February this year. I carried the flag in the independence rally with my son, proudly St. Lucian. So I see SLP on the flag, I see UWP on the flag. 30 years, guys. I believe that there are St. Lucians that are brilliant enough, have managerial skills enough to manage the ports. All right, that's my opinion. You know, as a layman among the streets, all right? Now tell me now, the economist, the agreement I was told, I heard on some program on TV. I haven't seen the agreement, and I believe it shouldn't be public to citizens. I'm a citizen, taxpaying citizen. It should be to everybody, public. There ain't no secret. That's not between GPH and SLP party. That's between the government of St. Lucia, representing everybody, red, blue, yellow, black, white. Look at the flag. That for every $100,000 GPH makes, St. Lucia gets $6,000. That's a deal or that's a steal? Come on, Gassa. Come on. Nah, something wrong with that. VAT is 12.5%. So if I, as a businessman or the businessman in St. Lucia, make $100,000, they have to give the government $12,500. That's easy maths. $12,500, and GPH giving them half of that $6,000. GPH was just awarded a concession, tax-free concession for 40 years, no tax. That's a quite black money with the country. With the country business, right? And the head tax for the cruise ships, every passenger pays $12.50, $10 going to $10 going, how many US dollars? $10 going to, it's probably US dollars, going to GPH, and $2.50 comes to Lucia. Who would have agreed to that agreement? Now I wonder, guys, if they did that after some cocktail party or they were in a coma. When did that agreement? A coma. You mean our national representatives, the ministers and the prime minister and them do an agreement like that in 2025? No, I tell you something, I'm very patriotic. I carry the flag for the first, my son. I didn't study red or yellow as a St. Lucian. I will need an explanation. I'm not going on no massive demonstration yet. I'm not taking any food. I need somebody from the government side to come on TV, come on NTN TV, National Television Network, come on have a town hall meeting to explain that to the people, to us, myself. We need explanation. Not because you're in power, you can do what you want, guys. It's not a private entity. Public service, public servant, That's the country's business. Honestly, I need an explanation. That is like the hickory duck. The cow jump over the moon and the dish one with a spoon. Real thing, brother. 2025. So I wait in the big. I need to see the agreement. I need to get that clarified. I need to get that confirmed. If that is true, that's mayhem. That's treason, guys.
Concerned citizen John Daniel. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is Newspin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Boy, Timothy. Imagine the custom man that talking there. Custom man that giving that views. And so if the layman on the street that saying there is labor or who saying there is flambeau, they can't understand that. Up to now, he like come and give us a proper of what going down with that wolf thing. The Prime Minister can say nothing. Richard Frederick, Stevenson King, the whole saga. Nothing saying. Nothing at all. But what's out? A party there. Yes, something there. And that is it. And the people just go in and vote. Labour. Another 10 years of misery again. Timothy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Think we have a call on the landline, so we go to that call. No, we have lost that call, but we are waiting your calls. And of course, in a moment, Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room, so stand by for that. We have that call. Good afternoon. Newspin, you're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
To you, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
Timothy, sometimes when I listen to government ministers, Timothy, they remind me of a show I used to watch many years ago called Sanford and Son, Timothy. I mean, these people make a mockery, Timothy, of the legal system. They make a mockery out of the people of St. Lucia. I mean, here you have, a number of cattle in the shock area. For decades, the government hasn't done anything about that. You understand? And you and I know, and the people of St. Lucia know, that can be resolved in a day. But why is the government refusing to take action against this gentleman? Then you have a boat that actually sits in the cemetery in Soufrière. What are you hearing from the PM, the MP for that area? What are you hearing from her? The same old story. Does solutions, do they take action, Timothy? No. They call your show every single day. I call your show every single day. But as I'm saying, I'm preparing myself to take the government to court at any time. And when they take me to court as well, I'm prepared for them as well, Timothy. Financially, I'm prepared for them as well. So you see, solutions call the show, and they don't do anything about the issues that affect us. The only thing I can say to solutions, just keep on calling the show and do not take action on things that concern you and your livelihoods. And solutions, if you don't wake up and do what you have to do, this country is going to go down the drain. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling, caller. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. Just bear with me, trying to access this one. And it says, Tim, living in India where the cows are protected by the government. Look at how they are in India. You will understand. Another person says, Tim, may Velon's soul rest in peace. May sound insincere under these circumstances, but men like him who were given the opportunity to change this country for the better had a fine time living off tax dollars, took advantage of their positions of power and overexploited the opportunities, living with pseudo-intellectualism. Let's take a call. Good afternoon. Newspin, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good evening, Tim.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
I'm just calling because I have something on my chest from nearly 4 years ago. In August, this year going to give 4 years. Since I was working on a community project, a community center, in fact, in Timon Estate. This contract was given to Dr. Secret under the United Workers' Party, which is now in opposition. But nearly 4 years later, I haven't even gotten paid. And this is very puzzling to me because Dr. Secret is a very good friend of mine. And he came at my home nearly 2 weeks ago and we had a discussion as to what really going on. And this little person told me, which I don't want to mention any names on the broadcast, that the parliamentary representative for Babono said, I don't know how true it is, that the contract was never signed or approved by any administration that was there previously. But Tim, je veux faire ma coupe en bail. Si vous allez dans la banque avec un point alone pour payer ces travailleurs, pour payer les gens qui travaillent avec vous, avec ou pas les pièces documents qui signent, avec pièces documents qui approuvés par le gouvernement. Est-ce que ça n'a jamais approuvé avec pas ou alone pour payer ces travailleurs?
Ma quoi yo supposé ba oui, mais ma have si yo ba oui, ma quoi yo supposé ba oui.
OK. Souple. Si parliamentary representative là pour Babono ka tsan pour moi. Mais ça dit souple. Investiguer ça avec mais quand il veut payer Dr. Secret pour moi, ça toi payer avec ces travailleurs qui travaillent ensemble avec lui pour y ça payer aussi. Another thing is Tim. Up Grozily, the parliamentary representative is saying so many works is being done and all sorts of things and things is been booming up Grozily. I don't know how true it is, but I know I live in the constituency and nearly every day I'm on the road and when people approach me, people only tell me that things is hard. Things is hard. And I'm a youth also. I'm a youth. And I could tell you, Tim, for the past four years now, I've been suffering, Tim. We've been suffering up Grozily. The youth, only what the youth will tell me is things are hard, bagay wed, la pani travail, and ye pakakoui. So, I would like that administration, which is now in power, the Lucia Labour Party, to make people know what are the plans for the youth because there is nothing happening. Nothing happening. Tim, you have a good day. Amanda, have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Let's see if we have another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is Newspin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Rick.
We lost another one, Tim.
Yes, we have in Velon, yes.
And the horror of it is, I wonder how many living St. Lucians know what we have lost, who really knew Velon John, apart from a statement here and there, public statement here and there. Velon John and I grew up on the Labrie Beach. Our homes were yards from each other. And I had quite a laugh when, you might remember this, I pardon my slowness, because I'm a little moved by Velon's passing. Not just because he died, but the fact that we have no replacements. That's what really hurts me the most. No prospects. I spent a whole show talk trying to prove to the nation that politicians just take them for a ride, that it didn't matter what color was in office. We all take it in the neck. That's the phrase, right?
Yes.
Everybody knows that phrase, I think. You remember it?
Very much so.
Yeah? That no matter who's in office, we take it in the neck.
Yes.
Sometimes the very party we give our everything for and sacrifice needlessly for turns around and victimizes you because you perhaps said a wrong word, etc. But that evening, I recall, the recalled evening, I wanted to show St. Lucians how, again, we are taken for a ride. And I wanted to show them also the power of words. Because for weeks, we've been hearing on the radio that people in trouble, especially the women who get into trouble, there's a hotline and whatever. And you may well remember, and I'm sure people in your audience will remember, that is not easily forgotten, that throughout the show, which went on for about 90 minutes, I kept calling the number that Velon John had supplied the nation with, the hotline, about 90 minutes, and every single time I called it, which was between like 10 minutes space, the phone rang off the hook because they could hear the phone ringing for the whole evening. A few days later in Parliament, Velon John, obviously upset with me. I don't want to say angry, because I don't think Velon ever got angry. Obviously upset that I had exposed him, is a nice way of putting it. Cedric Wynn remembers only what he wants to remember, which is true in some ways. Some things are forgettable and deserve to be. But he doesn't remember that I knew him when he was running around naked on the beach in Labrie. And I suppose I was supposed to feel some kind of discomfort of that thing. But of course, by now the whole country must know I am perhaps most comfortable when I'm naked with myself. I also appreciate it if the right people are naked too. I have no problem with nudity. Nudity is God's work, if you believe in God. The perfection of the human body, that is supposed to be evidence of God's perfection, right? So It all is a matter of attitude. Having said that, do you remember who said, maybe you can finish it for me, words, words, words. Can you finish that sentence?
No, I can't.
You can?
No, I can't.
I'm not getting into it.
No, I can't. This is your story, Rick. Tell me the story.
Tim, I love to involve you in the stories. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I want to involve you in the stories. When I'm gone and the tapes are played back, Tim will be there. And Tim will be saying, yeah, I remember. And Tim might want to do something for the fact that he's on the record. And Rick is gone.
Refresh my memory.
I know you remember what I said. I'm just putting your leg. It was a budget address, and Lucia had just won the elections that year. And he kept blasting John Compton at the same time, making promises. Well, not promises, but blasting Compton's work and promising to do better things than Compton could. And at one point, Compton, who had been sitting there for the last 15 minutes with his chin in that typical posture of his, where he puts his chin on his elbows on the desk and his chin in his hand. I'm sure everybody remembers that picture. And Compton suddenly woke up and he says, words, dismissively, words. And Louis, who you know was a cool, quiet guy, screamed out at him, words. What put you where you are today? Remember that?
Yes, that's when he was in opposition.
No, that's when he had just come into office.
Okay.
The first parliamentary meeting, first budget.
Yes, so Compton would have been in opposition at the time.
Yes, leader of the opposition. But it was not so much, it was the suddenness of it, both in terms of the words, the power of the words delivered, and for a man who was normally very quiet and docile, and whatever Luigi just jumped up there like he was the devil himself, because Compton kept dismissing him. Words, and words put you where you are today. Meaning, it's our words who put you in opposition. Tim, words are very, very important. And a word that can be taken in one way in a particular environment, that same word in another environment means something totally different. And it's very interesting that Velon John launched a book shortly before he died. And the Prime Minister delivered what amounted to a very short eulogy, because it was very obvious, and John told everybody, Velon told everybody he was dying. So I suppose he had it in mind too, that something of a eulogy. And he said it's on video, it's on YouTube, and you can get it. Maybe you can play it another time. That Velon John had the unique ability to link up with regular people. But at the same time, he was able to speak to everybody. He said people hearing him on the hustings in Library would not associate him with the same guy who will start talking in the house about salubrious and so on and so on and so on. Well, that is a bit of hyperbole. There's nothing unique about that, as the Prime Minister said, unique twice in that. Nothing unique about that, because George was especially famous for that. No.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
And and Compton.
It's a case of time and place, Rick.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I watched our Prime Minister with great pride. I just become his personal assistant back in the day, and we were invited to Venezuela, Caracas, and they were celebrating Simon Bolivar. The room was packed with all kinds of Venezuelan dignitaries and whatnot. And Compton was one of those giving. Well, he delivered the keynote address. And Tim, believe it or not, the room of Venezuelans, there was hardly a dry eye there. I could not believe that. First of all, I suppose because Simon Bolivar's sailor and John Compton's sailor, but he obviously was a big fan of Simon Bolivar. And the sincerity that he poured in those words, what words can do. I couldn't believe that's the same guy who in another place shouted, "Toutes les bases volées! Toutes les bases violet!" Eh?
Yeah.
that shook me about words in the right place. It just comes in again. Non moins c'est sommeil. You know the rest of him?
Oh, c'est obligé bon.
And he delivered that address with Maroc and a few other holies in the audience. Non moins c'est sommeil. Ou peut faire salver. And that was supposed to be the guy talking to himself regarding a lady. And I know we have some people outside, some young St. Lucians who don't understand Creole, so they deserve for me to explain that. My name is Sleep, and whatever you do, I am going to take you tonight. And if they want to know the meaning of take in that nuance, they can go to the Creole dictionary and they will see what take means in our Creole dictionary. But Tim, also, you quoted Velon, I think you quoted him, where he said, creatively, speaking of crime, we have to think of creatively draconian measures.
I played the clip. I didn't quote him, but I played him.
Yeah,
making
okay,
the
play the clip.
Yeah.
Once again, Tim.
Yes.
You know, how do you get creatively draconian? And Philip Pierre reminds us in his eulogy that Velon John is the guy who sentenced some people to be flogged in Columbus Square. That is history. That's all part of Velon John's history. But Velon John is talking about being creatively draconian. Now, draconian means cruel, harsh, severe to the extreme. Words put you where you are today. I will remember Velon as a librarian, one of the proud sons of the library. I will remember him as telling it like it is. I don't think, in fact, if you listen to his interview well, he wasn't exactly kind to the Labour Party in the last days.
No, he wasn't.
Why his resignation was, and so on and so on. If you listen to the interview, he's quite critical of the Labour Party, of how he was treated, Labour Party. I would suggest to St. Lucians that they get Velon John's book, or they take more interest in our Hansard, the book, the Hansard, and learn a little bit about the great people we've produced in this country. And maybe that would give us some pride in who we are, what we have done. Derek Walcott and Arthur Lewis, there are others, Dunstan St. Toomer, all of those people. We produce a lot of sons and daughters in this country worthy of emulation.
And that probably, Rick, will cause us to raise the bar.
And it seems what a shame that we have allowed the bar to get right down in the cesspit, and we cannot go under the bar without finding ourselves covered in shit, and that's the only word I can use, the actual word for pieces. You know, we have allowed it guys so easy. We want everything done so easily. We will never swim upstream. Everything is difficult. It's much easier to pick up a gun and leave a shop with $10,000 than to learn a trade, than to take pride in earning money rather than being handed out. It's so easy to allow yourself, you know, Mia Motley had a problem with cockroaches. No, there's not a problem with cockroaches. There's a problem with when to call someone a cockroach is appropriate or not. Because some of us do exist as if we were cockroaches. Some of us do take on the character of pigs. Some of us do that. And we must point that out and not be afraid because, well, they might call the man a pig. Yeah, because you're acting like a pig. I'm not crazy just to go and call anybody a pig. If you act like a pig, sound like a pig, grunt like a pig, you're a pig. And you deserve to be told you're a pig. And people have to be discouraged from that behavior so that other people don't look at them as pigs. Words are important. I don't think there's any word that's offensive unless it's a lie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling, Rick. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and of course, Amanda will be going through some of your comments. Stay with the broadcast.
On Saturday, June 14th, as the island ignites at Lumina, taking over Project Chocolat, Mikal Tesha. Mikal Tesha. Mikal Tesha.
Lauren say it cold out in New York City. If you hear she ballin', I need a little rundown.
Alongside soca sensations Ezra and Slide. Back to by the electrifying Impulse Band. Music by Hype Kid, A1 Jugglers, the Them DJ Sir Lancelot. Powered by Island Sounds. Hosted by MC Donneville. Tickets $130, no door sales. Get yours at the Cell Island-wide, Mambo's Bar in Soufriere, or online at 4circlestickets.com. On Saturday, June 14th, Lumina. From 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Dress code Caribbean chic.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucia at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart. Stay safe.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot hide. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping.
And flying to St. Kitts. Guinness St. Lucia is giving you a shot at an all-expense-paid trip to the St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to 28th, 2025. Experience top dancehall and soca acts from across the region. Buy 2 Guinness or 2 Guinness Smooth to enter. Drop your receipt in promo boxes or DM to We Brew Vibes on Instagram. You must be 18 and over to participate with a valid passport. Prize is non-transferable. Promotion runs May 12th to June 16th with the big draw on June 18th. Plus, look out for Guinness block parties, giveaways, and specials island-wide. Travel sponsored by Sunrise Airways. Guinness, made of more.
I in a good spirit. I drink in a good
St.
spirit.
Lucia, are you ready for the ultimate all-inclusive?
Chalet Blanc, the all-white event. Tier 1 now available at Frontline Ticketing, Eventbrite, Digicel Baywalk Mall, 4 Circles Ticketing, or WhatsApp at 240-344-8629. A musical journey curated by the best local and international DJs. St. Lucia Carnival Saturday, July 19th, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
At Sanders Golf and Country Club, Kappa State.
Look something to talk about.
Unlimited drinks, brunch buffet, top-class entertainment.
Stay tuned. This event is powered by One Golden Fox and Natalie Events.
Why suffer in silence? At La Clinique de Corps, an approved universal healthcare clinic, you now have direct access to a team of internationally trained specialists from the US, France, Cuba, Venezuela, and more right here in St. Lucia. We treat chronic pain, sciatica, arthritis, lupus, nerve damage, carpal tunnel, and more with precision and care. We also offer advanced diagnostic nerve testing to detect hidden issues early before they become serious. All health insurances accepted. We assist you every step of the way. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950 today. La Clinique de Corps, where healing begins.
In the blink of an eye, disaster can strike. Are you ready? When the winds rage and the rain pours, will you be prepared? Don't let the next hurricane catch you off guard. At MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt, we understand the importance of preparation. From generators to plywood, we have everything you need to weather the storm. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt today and make sure your family is safe and secure this hurricane season. Play it safe. Get prepared.
Calling all teens. This one's just for you. Get ready for the KFC Teen Socarama happening Saturday, June 28th from 12 to 6 p.m. at Serenity Park. It's a full day of teen talent on display. Junior soca and calypso artists, kiddie carnival bands, fashion, drama, games, and non-stop vibes. Come out and let's have some good, clean fun. No alcohol, just finger-licking goodness. So tell a friend, grab your crew, pull up to KFC Teen Socarama. See you there.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Time now for a WhatsApp message which reads, in relation to the cattle situation, I do recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the government made an attempt to inform the public of the cows crossing the highway in that shock area by erecting signage stating cow/cattle crossing, LOL. Can anyone remember that? I must say, though, that didn't last long as it disappeared just as soon as it was erected. Another WhatsApp message. Tim, when people know all the Fed venues and dates, boat rides, shows, carnival launchings, limes and drink-ups, but don't see how the government is deceiving and shafting them and raping Helen, that's a people committing suicide. Another one says via WhatsApp, I thought this land where the cows occupied belonged to the Shastneys. Isn't this the property identified for the Dolphin Park? And another one says, good day. The GPH agreement will never be given out to the public to read or to be read. If SLASPA allowed this to happen, it says everything about the type of government and, by extension, its people. We really and truly fail to see the sad state of affairs we have landed in. And on this whole GPH agreement matter, Mr. Guy Joseph, the former government minister and first deputy political leader of the opposition, UWP, addressed this issue during a recent appearance on the DBS program News Make Alive.
They knew from 2022 that these residents would be affected. Why is it on the eve of an election and GPH coming in to do something that you are all of a sudden relocating these people, and you're not relocating them? You're giving them $17,500, but they must sign an agreement that says, have you seen the agreement, Tim?
I've seen it, yeah.
The agreement says that once you sign, you have no more recourse. You have no more claim for anything. That's why they want them to break down the houses themselves so they cannot say anything was damaged. Is that fair? For a government, your average citizen, some of them who cannot even read and write properly, struggling people, to put them through that when you knew from 2022 you went into that agreement and to further compound the situation, the area is represented by Ernest Hille, the minister who went into the arrangement with Global Port Holding. Is that fair to the people? Now, today it is Banans Bay, but Quelas is coming, and I'm putting the people of Soufrière on notice because the GPH arrangement will have to relocate the people of Quelas. They're not telling us what the agreement is, Tim. But there is a lot that is going to happen. They are taking over La Place Carinage also. And in the agreement has what? That there is resistance from Point Seraphine, from Invest St. Lucia, to allow GPH to go ahead. So GPH is raising objection in the agreement. Tim, this thing is dirty. This thing is not good for St. Lucia. Everybody have said it is not good except the government ministers, the cabinet of ministers. And on all of these agreements is Minister King's signature, that is there. He is the one who sent the note to cabinet. The cabinet decision, and I have the cabinet conclusion too, team, that says what cabinet agreed to: waiver of all kinds of taxes, including withholding tax. So when you see, and this agreement, team, it says, let me just read this thing so you can understand. Finally, GPH, as part of the signed concession agreement, will work with the St. Lucia and Seaports Authority to revise the master. Listen to that. To revise the master plan, provide expertise to look at possible scenarios for the cargo relocation and improvement of the cruise experience. So if the truckers think the problems are solved, problems just start coming down the road.
Mr. Guy Joseph speaking during a recent appearance on the DBS special News Make Alive. Let me quickly go through some of your WhatsApp messages. Tim, I heard that during one of the elections, or after one of the elections, when his party won, Clinton killed a whole cow to celebrate with his comrades. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp message. Somebody says that the public needs to rally around the movement of the cattle, especially those that roam freely in the shock area. The same issue has started at cul-de-sac roundabout. The animal owners need to be fined and held accountable. And another one says via WhatsApp, a pleasant afternoon to you. The minister is absolutely right. Sorry to say, the cattle owner, like the minister rightly said, has an obligation to secure his cattle. If the stray animals are found on the road, the police have the responsibility to impound all the animals. The officers are not doing their work. Impounding the animals is a way to generate revenue for the government. The cattle owner has to pay the impound fees. If the cattle owner refuses to pay, the police have a right to sell the animals after 7 days. If the police had been doing that, you would have seen a reduction with the amount of cattle on our roads. And somebody says there, no Newspin at Mega J today. Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. Okay. Right, let's see there. Somebody says there. Okay, Alfred Prosper is not trying to solve the cattle problem. He's just diverting the problem to V4, Poor Job the South. Ministry of Agriculture can establish communal cattle pastures in the north and south of the island and have the cattle farmers to pay an annual fee for fencing maintenance. And another WhatsApp message. It really hurts to hear Prosper talking so much garbage. You can actually hear his voice with no empathy at all to those who have lost their lives. Tim, have been a victim where I had to get my car fixed on my own and my neck in braces for months. One thing I know, God doesn't like ugly, and what goes around comes around. This guy, the cow's owner, his time shall come. Another one says, Tim, under the last government, when police started shooting the cows, he found some. As the SLP came back, the man stated his party is in power, hence he dropped the cows again. And somebody says there, that has been being done, but the cattle owner has friends in high places. Sad. Another person says, this is correct. Soon after the last elections, the cows reappeared. And another person says, the children of... Okay, no. All right, let's see there. One other WhatsApp message. Tim, what I heard, Mr. Alfred, real? The government is not responsible for keeping us safe. Can you believe these words would come from the mouth of a government minister? Some people may not know the law, but I'm urging anyone who is involved in any collision with any stray cattle on the roads of St. Lucia, especially at Shock, to take the government to court for redress. Okay, that'll do it for our WhatsApp messages. Somebody says we'll make burgers and steak with them in VA4. So we have already gone through our Newspin question of the day. Time for the Newspin news of the day. The Newspin news of the day reads, Hailing Israel's strikes on Iran, Trump says there is a lot more to come. Hailing Israel's strike on Iran, Trump says there is a lot more to come. That's been the Newspin news of the day, and that's a broadcast for today as well as for this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time, good rest, and ensure that it's incident-free. And you could join us on Monday afternoon at 12:30 for another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.